Hi, I'm Ashley Smith from the Farmington Hills Nature Center, and welcome to this episode of Nature in the Hills. Today we have Jesse Mason with us, one of the founders of the Farmington Community Stargazers. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
So tell us a little bit about what interested you in astronomy.
Two things. First, and it happened simultaneously, is the summer of '97. I grew up in a family that sailed, and my dad took me on a tall ship, the U.S. Brig Niagara, and while we were out at sea, there was a gentleman that was aboard the ship that was very knowledgeable about astronomy, and he gave us a tour of the night sky, and it was the first time I'd ever been introduced to the sky in a formal way. And that sparked my interest. And shortly after, the Hale-Bopp comet took to the sky and wowed everyone. And that summer, astronomy became a passion for me. I went to this library, I checked out a book on constellations. I spent many a night in my backyard just looking up.
Wow.
Yeah, incredible.
And I think that's important to mention too. Some people feel like they can't partake in the hobby of astronomy because they don't have the appropriate equipment, and you can really
or
do
maybe
a lot.
even the appropriate background.
Sure.
But we kind of want to break down that wall and say, no, this is for everybody. This is something that anyone can enjoy.
Right.
So we have the telescopes, we have much of the knowledge. Why don't you come over here and we'll share it with you.
Right, and even how you share with folks, there's a lot you can see with just the naked eye, with some binoculars, so it doesn't mean that you have to run out and buy a telescope to enjoy the pastime of astronomy. So we are making things really accessible for the public here in Heritage Park. So that includes the program that we do in the winter. In March, we offer our One Starry Night program that you've helped with in the past. We always do that to coincide with the Earth Hour event, where folks shut off their lights and all their electricity. And our hope is that they come out for our event, shut everything off, and head out and observe the night sky. And in the past, we've had, maybe a dozen to half dozen telescopes in the parking lot, and really sharing the sky watching experience with families. Yeah,
that was actually where I met many of the people that became members of our astronomy club.
That's great.
Was at that event.
Oh, perfect. So your club is constantly growing. So we'll talk about that in a minute. But I really want to hear about the new star parties that we just started out this year here at Heritage Park. And we kind of went into this thinking, we'll start these up. Hopefully we'll have people that want to attend. And it's just really exploded into this really well-received program. So can you tell us a little bit about how the star parties got started and what folks can expect when they come out?
Well, like I said, we launched the club because of the reception I had at the library, and we started looking around for places to have the star parties. And I'm familiar with Heritage Park, and I know it's gorgeous, but I knew it shut down at dusk.
Sure.
So we spent a good amount of time making connections with people, trying to secure the location, and eventually we worked out a deal, and we meet once a month at the Sled Hill. And the very first one we had, I think we had 4 telescopes and 12 attendees. And at the most recent one, we had almost a dozen telescopes with over 100 attendees. So it seems to be growing.
Yeah, not much time either, just in a matter of a few months.
Just a summer, yeah.
And again, how that interest is sparked, and their friends, they tell their friends, and then they come out.
Yeah, for a lot, it's if they just take a picture of the moon through the telescope at dusk, because that's when we can first start getting views of that kind of thing, they'll put it on Facebook and say, hey, I'm at Heritage Park, and then 10 people will come because they saw it on Facebook. So.
Right. So that's the cool thing about the star parties, is it's set up pretty informally. So it's free for folks to come out, and it's because, thanks to the volunteers and the members of the Farmington Community Stargazers that lend their time and expertise. But, they come out and they're able to explore the night sky, and really from dusk until a few hours after sunset, which is great. So they get to experience a unique treat of Heritage Park after dark.
Many people show up because we start at sunset, and many people show up at sunset and say, what's there to see besides, sometimes you can see the moon at sunset, what's there to see until it gets dark? And we say, well, how many of you guys have actually sat around and watched the stars come out? And most people have not watched the stars come out with the purpose of watching the stars come out. So as the stars come out, we're able to explain what they're seeing, and if it's a planet, we can get a telescope on it and show them a better view. And once it gets dark enough, we'll show them we'll give them a naked eye sky tour, which is the telescopes are put away for a moment, and all we do is look up and tell you what we see from an astronomer's standpoint. And for many people, that naked eye sky tour is the best part of the show because they can relive it the very next night.
Right, they can share it with a friend,
Absolutely.
all the new discoveries that they made when they were at the star party.
Yep.
So in addition to having that unique treat of experiencing Heritage Park after dark, a lot of folks, that the sledding hill is where the star parties meet in the north end of the park.
Yep.
Perfect spot to watch a sunset.
It's gorgeous. I think the first time we were there, me and the other co-founder, Sammer, we were just overjoyed because we had picked out that spot saying, I think this would be perfect. I don't see any lights around.
Sure.
And there are no lights, and very accessible, easy to park your car and walk to the sledding hill. And the view from the sled hill is gorgeous, especially at dusk.
Right, right. So there's been many times when I've even been leaving the park, looked in my review mirror and saw this beautiful burst of like orange and pink, and to turn around and hang out for the sunset at the end of the day. So we're hoping to continue the star parties into the fall, and maybe take a break in the winter and pick them back up again in the spring if there's interest in everything. And I know in the winter time in March is normally the end of March is when we do the One Starry Night, so folks can be on the lookout for that event coming up the same day as the Earth Hour event.
Yeah.
But is there any information that you can share with us about if folks are more interested in joining the Farmington Community Stargazers?
Yeah, if you're interested in joining the club, we have a planning session at the library the last Tuesday of the month right now. We'll be doing that throughout the winter. Even if we don't hold any star parties, we're still going to be doing a lot of planning for the upcoming season. And we have a Facebook page where we post pictures and information about our group. That's the Farmington Community Stargazers Facebook page.
Okay, so you can get some more information that way too. And then something else to mention, a lot of folks, when they're taking a look at the weather, when they're wanting to come out for one of the outdoor star parties, they look, oh, it's cloudy, or there might be a chance of rain. So what do you tell those folks?
Yeah, we have had some bad fortune with weather this season. If it's raining, we will cancel the event altogether right now.
Sure.
We don't have a backup date right now.
Okay.
And we announce the cancellation by that afternoon,
Right.
usually on our Facebook page.
Okay.
But if it's cloudy, but it's not raining, we will still be meeting at the near the sled hill. We'll meet at the North Pavilion,
Okay.
which is next to the playground, and we'll do an astronomy presentation inside the pavilion for people that show up.
That's perfect. So
Yeah.
they can still get a little information, and maybe the next day when the clouds have cleared,
And
they
you know,
can take a
sometimes
look
the
at night
clouds, there's
sky.
a break in the clouds and we can find one or two things. We'll have
Right.
a telescope out just in case. So
Right. Oh, perfect. So
Yeah.
I think folks are excited about checking it out if they haven't been to one of our star parties before, or some of our other astronomy programs that we offer here at the park, in addition to some of the other places around the community.
yeah.
So a lot of folks are always on their smartphones finding the latest app. So I know that
Yeah.
there's some astronomy apps out there.
There's a
So-
lot of great apps. I'm an iPhone user, and my favorite app for the iPhone astronomy app is the Sky Guide app. It's a couple bucks. It is fantastic. I spend cloudy nights on my couch with the app learning about the sky. It's very useful. And I have friends that use Android, and I've heard Stellarium is a really good one for the Android.
So thank you so much, and thank you so much for coming in and talking with us a little bit more about astronomy and our star parties and different events. Before we end today, is there anything that that you want to share with folks about your favorite thing in the night sky, or something that you really feel like everybody should at least look for, at least experience once when they're looking out at the night sky?
You can't see it year-round, but in the fall and in the early spring, it's pretty easy to see. My favorite thing to find through the telescope, and if it's dark enough with your naked eye, is the Andromeda galaxy, which is a trillion stars. And
That's crazy.
every once in a while, you can catch it with binoculars too. I'll sneak out at night after taking the trash out at my house, and I'll get my binoculars and I'll try to sneak a peek at the Andromeda galaxy, because I always like going to bed being able to say I got to see a trillion stars tonight.
Yeah, that's incredible.
That's my favorite.
And the interesting thing too, I think, is that the night sky, there's always different things to see throughout the year. It's not the same.
Yeah,
So,
people often ask, what are you guys looking at tonight? What's up tonight? Something new is up every night. There's so much to see up there. So
even just trying to find the constellations and match those shapes up sometimes can be challenging, but
absolutely.
It's fun. So, well, thanks again for coming on the show today.
My pleasure.
Yeah. For more information about astronomy events here at the Nature Center or our star parties here in the park, give the Nature Center a call, 248-477-1135. Thanks for watching this episode of Nature in the Hills.